Some people don't dislike you because of what you did. They dislike you because of who you are. Let that truly sink in. Today, I'm going to walk you through the hidden behaviors of people who dislike you for no clear reason. And once you recognize this, you'll stop taking it personally. If this resonates with you, pause for a moment and reflect. Commit to growing mentally, and stay focused so your energy goes into strength instead of excuses. The first behavior of people who dislike you for no reason is that they feel intimidated by your potential rather than your actions. Understanding this is essential to seeing why their dislike often feels so irrational. These individuals are not reacting to anything you've actually done to them. Instead, they're responding to the idea of what you might become, the possibilities you carry, and the way you present yourself in life. Your ambition, your discipline, your confidence, or even how you deal with challenges can trigger a deep subconscious discomfort in them because it highlights their own limitations and unfulfilled goals. When they look at you, they don't just see a person, they see a reflection of what they are not, and that reflection can feel overwhelming. This is why their dislike can appear suddenly, often before you've even had meaningful interaction with them. It isn't based on personal conflict, mistakes, or misunderstandings. It's a defensive reaction to the energy you project and the opportunities you represent. People who feel this way often try to minimize or discredit you in subtle ways, through gossip, passive-aggressive remarks, or unnecessary criticism, all meant to keep you smaller in their perception so their insecurities feel less exposed. The irony is that the more you pursue your goals, the more clearly they see your potential and the more uneasy they become. Your progress becomes a reminder of their own inaction, their fear of taking risks, or their unwillingness to evolve, which intensifies their resentment. They may not even fully understand why they feel this way. It often shows up as hostility without a logical explanation because their reaction is instinctive, automatic, and rooted in self-protection. Recognizing this behavior is freeing because it changes your perspective. Instead of taking their dislike personally, you begin to see it as a reflection of their internal struggle. When you understand that their negativity is about your potential rather than your character, you gain clarity and emotional distance. You can continue growing, chasing your vision, and improving your life without being distracted or discouraged by their baseless negativity. Their behavior says far more about them than it ever could about you. The second behavior of people who dislike you for no reason is that they project their own insecurities onto you. This is a powerful concept to understand because it explains why their criticism can feel so personal even when it's completely misplaced. Projection is a psychological defense mechanism where someone takes the uncomfortable feelings, fears, or weaknesses they refuse to face within themselves and assigns them to someone else. When a person feels insecure, whether about their abilities, appearance, success, or emotional strength, they unconsciously try to shift that discomfort outward. You become the target not because you caused anything, but because your presence highlights what they feel is missing within themselves. For example, if they struggle with consistency or fear failure, watching you handle challenges with confidence may trigger feelings of inadequacy or jealousy that they can't process internally. Instead of confronting those feelings, they redirect them towards you, framing you as the problem. This is why their behavior often seems irrational. They are reacting to their own inner conflict, not to anything objectively wrong with you. They might criticize traits in you that they secretly struggle with themselves, using you as a way to feel temporarily superior or to avoid dealing with their own shortcomings. Understanding this dynamic helps remove the emotional weight of their words. It's not truly about you. It's about what they are going through internally. Once you recognize projection, you can stay calm and grounded, knowing their hostility reflects their insecurities rather than your value. This awareness allows you to maintain your confidence, protect your focus, and avoid reacting in ways that give them control over your emotions. The third behavior of people who dislike you for no reason is that they quietly observe you while pretending not to care. This is a subtle but revealing sign of their insecurity and hidden fixation. On the surface, they may act indifferent, distant, or dismissive, making it seem like your life or achievements don't matter to them. But beneath that exterior, they are paying close attention. They watch your actions, notice your habits, track your progress, and mentally take note of your strengths and weaknesses. This behavior is driven by a mix of envy, fear, and a need to feel in control. They may follow your activity, ask indirect questions through others, or casually mention things you've done as if it's coincidence. All of this is an attempt to understand you, measure themselves against you, or predict your next move. The contradiction between their outward indifference and their hidden attention reveals the truth. If they truly didn't care, they wouldn't invest energy in observing you at all. Their quiet monitoring is often a way to reassure themselves that they are not falling behind or being overshadowed. At the same time, it exposes how much your presence affects them. They may hope to catch you making a mistake, find a flaw they can exaggerate, or discover something they can use to weaken your confidence, all without confronting you directly. Recognizing this pattern gives you an advantage. It shows that their behavior is more about their internal fear than your reality. You can stay confident, knowing their attention is rooted in insecurity, not strength. Their attempts to analyze you highlight their uncertainty, not your weakness. By understanding this, you protect your energy and continue moving forward without giving them the satisfaction of knowing they can unsettle you. The fourth behavior of people who dislike you for no reason is that they engage in subtle sabotage instead of addressing you directly. This behavior is rooted in fear, insecurity, and an inability to deal with conflict in an honest way. These individuals often avoid open confrontation because it would expose their weaknesses or force them to take responsibility. Instead, they rely on indirect tactics to disrupt you while maintaining a surface image of innocence. This sabotage can appear in many forms, such as spreading rumors, withholding useful information, undermining your credibility with partial truths, creating distractions that slow your progress, or positioning themselves in ways that quietly block your opportunities. They rarely confront you openly because doing so would put them in a position where your confidence and clarity might expose their insecurity. What makes this behavior especially damaging is that it can leave you feeling confused, frustrated, or even doubtful of yourself. They rely on subtlety to create uncertainty, hoping you won't fully recognize what's happening. They may try to drain your energy, shake your focus, or provoke a reaction that justifies their attitude towards you. However, this approach also reveals something important. The more indirect their actions are, the less actual power they have. Their need to operate in the background shows that they lack the strength to face you directly. And once you see this clearly, their behavior loses its ability to affect you. Instead of reacting emotionally, you become more aware, more grounded, and more focused on your own path, refusing to let their hidden negativity interfere with your progress. People who rely on subtle attacks often do so because they feel unable to compete openly with your skills, intelligence, or composure. Recognizing this pattern gives you a strategic edge. It allows you to detach emotionally from their tactics, see through the manipulation, and continue moving forward with clarity and focus, refusing to give them control over your reactions or your direction. Their sabotage reflects their insecurity, not your weakness. Understanding this empowers you to handle these situations calmly, maintaining confidence while staying committed to your goals, knowing that the most effective response is always quiet persistence, resilience, and unwavering self-belief in the face of their indirect efforts. The fifth behavior of people who dislike you for no reason is that they twist your words to justify their feelings. Understanding this behavior is essential because it shows how their perception is shaped by their insecurities rather than by reality. When someone is driven by baseless dislike, they rarely respond to what you truly say or do. Instead, they interpret your words through a filter of suspicion, fear, or envy, often exaggerating, distorting, or taking things out of context to fit their narrative. A simple remark, a casual joke, or even a neutral statement can be reframed as arrogant, offensive, or threatening, not because it actually is, but because their mind is searching for reasons to support the negative emotions they already carry. This distortion serves two purposes. It shields them from confronting their own feelings of inadequacy and allows them to rationalize their hostility as a response to something real in your behavior, even when nothing of that sort exists. The danger of this pattern is that it can lead you to question your own communication, intentions, or actions, creating a false sense of responsibility for their reactions. The more they focus on twisting your words, the clearer it becomes that their dislike is internal, rooted in comparison, jealousy, or discomfort with seeing someone operate confidently and clearly. Recognizing this behavior is freeing because it allows you to step back emotionally and see the distortion for what it is, a projection of their inner struggles rather than a reflection of your character. It teaches you to communicate clearly, but not to over-explain or justify yourself to someone who is already committed to misunderstanding you. Their twisting of your words highlights their need for control, their attempt to manufacture reasons for their dislike, and their effort to hide their own insecurities, which ultimately reflects weakness rather than anything about you. Once you internalize this, you can maintain composure, continue expressing yourself authentically, and protect your energy from their manipulation. Their distortions reveal fear, inadequacy, and envy. By seeing it clearly, you develop emotional resilience, allowing you to move through interactions with confidence, unaffected by their baseless interpretations and unwilling to let their perspective define your reality. The sixth behavior of people who dislike you for no reason is that they seek validation by bringing others down. Understanding this pattern is important because it exposes the emptiness behind their negativity. These individuals are often insecure and internally dissatisfied. Instead of improving themselves through effort, growth, or reflection, they attempt to feel superior by diminishing the achievements, confidence, or reputation of others. Every accomplishment you reach, every moment of composure you display, and every sign of progress you make challenges their fragile self-image. As a result, they instinctively try to reduce your value through criticism, mockery, or subtle attacks. This need for validation through negativity can show up as gossip, sarcasm, dismissive remarks, social media criticism, or hidden insults disguised as humor, all designed to make you appear less capable, less confident, or less deserving of recognition. The irony is that the more they try to elevate themselves by putting others down, the more obvious their insecurity becomes, because confidence built on comparison is unstable and temporary. People who dislike without reason are not truly focused on fairness or truth. Their behavior is driven by the discomfort of seeing someone else succeed or display qualities they wish they possessed. Recognizing this allows you to separate their actions from your self-worth. When someone tries to diminish you to feel better about themselves, it reflects their deficiency, not your value. Understanding that their behavior is rooted in a need for validation helps you remain emotionally detached, refusing to react in ways that feed their desire for control or superiority. You can continue to grow, achieve, and stay composed while recognizing their actions as a predictable pattern of insecurity rather than a personal attack. Their attempts to validate themselves by lowering you ultimately fail to affect your true worth. The seventh behavior of people who dislike you for no reason is that they become uneasy when you remain calm and silent. This reaction is a strong indicator of how much control they secretly want over your emotions. People who operate from baseless dislike often depend on your reactions to validate their sense of importance or to confirm that their efforts to unsettle you are working. They provoke, criticize, or manipulate, not always to harm you directly, but to trigger a visible response that reassures them they have influence over you. When you stay calm, composed, and silent in the face of their behavior, their strategy breaks down and their discomfort becomes visible because they have nothing to hold on to. Your lack of reaction removes the feedback they rely on to justify their negativity and feed their ego. This is why silence is so powerful. It denies them the emotional energy they seek while showing your control over yourself, which is deeply unsettling to someone whose dislike is rooted in insecurity and envy. Their agitation around you is not truly about your words or actions, but about their inability to provoke the reaction they expect. The more composed and focused you remain, the more frustrated and powerless they feel. This frustration may even escalate their behavior in subtle ways, revealing the depth of their insecurity and their dependence on external validation. Understanding this dynamic gives you a powerful advantage because it reframes their discomfort as a sign of their weakness rather than an attack on you. By staying calm and not engaging in their provocations, you preserve your energy, protect your clarity, and reinforce boundaries that prevent them from influencing you. Their discomfort becomes a silent acknowledgement of your strength and stability. Recognizing this pattern allows you to move through interactions without losing your composure, turning their reactions into evidence of your emotional resilience and reinforcing the truth that their negativity only has power if you allow it, which you choose not to do. The eighth behavior of people who dislike you for no reason is that they lose their influence the moment you stop reacting. Understanding this is crucial because it reveals the true nature of their hostility and how easily it can be neutralized. People who carry baseless dislike often gain a sense of control or satisfaction from your emotional responses. Whether it's anger, frustration, defensiveness, or guilt, your reaction fuels their sense of importance and confirms their imagined control over you. Their actions, criticism, or manipulative tactics are not meant to truly damage you. They are attempts to provoke a response that validates their presence and temporarily boosts their self-worth. The moment you detach, refuse to engage, and remain composed, their influence disappears because the foundation of their power, your emotional reaction, no longer exists. When they realize that their words or actions cannot provoke you, their frustration increases, their strategies weaken, and their negativity loses its effect. This reveals that their behavior was never truly about you, but about their desire to feel control over someone else. Emotional detachment and silence become powerful tools in this situation because they protect your mental energy while stripping away the illusion of power the other person tries to create. The more you stay focused on your goals, remain steady, and refuse to feed their need for reaction, the less impact their negativity has on your life. Their dislike becomes a reflection of their inability to manage themselves rather than anything about your worth. Recognizing this gives you a deep sense of freedom. Understanding that their influence depends on your engagement allows you to handle situations without fear, remain steady in the face of provocation, and rise above manipulative behavior. By choosing not to react, you take back control of your emotional state and show that your strength is independent of their opinions. Over time, the more grounded and focused you remain, the more powerless their negativity becomes, leaving you free to grow, succeed, and move forward while they remain stuck in their own insecurity.